good morning, my crafty friends. Welcome to my craft room. My name is Dara Walter of Pickled Peppers Creative Cafe at pickledpepperscreative.com. Today is Saturday, July 5th, 2025, and you are in my craft room. So welcome, welcome, welcome. Today, as in most Saturdays, sometimes we defer it to Sunday, but most Saturdays, I am here to share something creative with you. I am an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator, so the supplies that you will see me use are from Stampin' Up. And yeah, Saturday is the day that I come to share with you, so you have found yourself in my craft room. Welcome in, and thank you so much for being here. Thank you, thank you. So, how are you? Hopefully you are having a fantastic day and a wonderful start of your weekend. If you are fortunate enough to have holidays off, you are having a long weekend. So I doubly appreciate you being here. Oh yeah, so yeah, welcome. I'm super happy that you're here, and I hope that you're having a good day. So we'll get started soon and talk about what we're going to be using today. Oh my gosh, have I ever got something large to show you. So when you come in, don't forget to say hi. If you're watching either on YouTube or Facebook, if you're watching the live or the recorded, either way, chat with me in the comments below. I love chatting with you. I may not see your comments while I am live because sometimes they're filtered, and sometimes I'm just super focused on what we're creating, but I'll definitely chat with you after the live portion is over. I'll go back and look for your comments and messages. So thank you so much for being here. Don't forget to give a thumbs up or a heart also if you love what we're doing, or whatever smiley face or anything that you want to give. I appreciate it either way. All right, so today I'm actually going to be making two cards, but they're both quick and simple. And one of them will begin with the remainder of the first one. So let's talk about what we're going to be using, shall we? All right, the first thing we're going to be using are these ginormous dies. Can you see them? They're called trying to avoid the glare of my ring light, the Party Alphabet dies. So we're going to be using the Party Alphabet dies. Can you see how big these are? Look at my hand, and then look at this. Humongous. So we're going to be using these large dies. And then the designer series paper we're going to be using today, very floral pattern, and let's get the official name, Lovely Garden. So this is the Lovely Garden 12 by 12 designer series paper pack by Stampin' Up. All right. So also, let's see if I can find you before we get started. I have added another device so that I can kind of try and keep track of your comments if I see them coming in. All right, there we go. I think we're on the right page and everything's good. Yeah, so again, this is the Lovely Garden 12 by 12. So we're going to be using that, and this is the star of the show. I did grab a stamp set someplace here. We're going to steal a birthday sentiment from it. But these are what we're going to be using. Let's take a look. Can we take a look at how big these dies are? Oh boy, they kind of get stuck in here. Oh, just kind of squeeze the pouch on the side. There we go. Look how big and yummy these are, you guys. I love, oh gosh, it's sticking to the paper here. I love when the elements of card making and scrapbooking are large, because if they take a lot of real estate, that's just less work that I have to do. And I can let the element, whether it be a stamp or a die, I can let it shine. I can let it take the forefront. And so is the case with these dies. So they're all of the alphabet, and then we have a couple of punctuation. So I'm sure this can be a period or a colon. We have an up arrow, an ampersand. Love, love, love. I love and signs, ampersands. It just, to me, represents more of life, just makes you think of more than just the surface. And then there are a couple, I never know what this is called, but we have this C with the squiggly. There are some commas, accent sign, and I have no idea. Do you guys know what this is? I have no idea what that is, but it's there. Anyway, so we're only going to use 2 of the dies today, and I think I'm going to face them together. I'm going to be a little careful the way I put them away so they don't stick to the packaging. We are making a birthday card. If you heard me say I nabbed a birthday sentiment. So we are using only the H and the B. And if I'm successful, I'm going to put the rest of them away. I probably shouldn't do this because I have to put, I have to put the other 2 back. So let's just set this aside. Boy, that's fussy. Did you see how fussy that was? All right, so let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to make a little space for myself here on my desktop. I'm running out of room. All right. Let's look at the designer series paper, and you can see one of the patterns I've chosen already. Let's take a look at the other patterns that are here. Aren't these flowers gorgeous? I love the colors too. This is Misty Moonlight, maybe? I don't know. I love that blue. Isn't it gorgeous? And there's some fresh freesia. Looks like Melon Mambo. We'll turn around and look at the back. Because the one thing that Stampin' Up does that's good, it's not the one thing, but one thing they do good is color coordination. And they also give you a cheat sheet on the back of each package if you're not familiar, or if you haven't used Stampin' Up designer series paper before, or if you have and you just haven't noticed it, they tell you the coordinating colors on the back. So here are all of the patterns. Ooh, look at this one. It's black in the background. Love it. Love it. Are these hydrangeas? I think they are. Lovely, aren't they? I love the flowers. And then a pleasant surprise is that there are a lot of black and white patterns on the reverse side. There's some fresh freesia, but a lot of black and white. I'm a fan of that because you can add any color with black and white and make it look fantastic. So that's the designer series paper. We are going to choose a second pattern for the next card, but we're going to start with this pattern for the first card that we're making. So let's go ahead and hop to it. Here we go. We're going to need to bring in the paper trimmer. So in terms of cardstock, I just have a piece of thick basic white and crushed curry. And actually, I was going to show you, I just talked about it. My hands are moving faster than my brain. But can you see here? Let's get the glare away. Right there at the top. Can you see that Stampin' Up! Gives us coordinating colors? So they told me crushed curry. And, oh, Melon Mambo is that pink color. So, oh, thank you so much for the thumbs up and the hearts. That Melon Mambo. I may pick a piece, maybe even the top one. Yeah, let's go with this one. That way we can put this away. And I'm going to grab a piece of Melon Mambo, and we'll use that for the second card that we're making. So let's bring it in, because I think that we may be able to get away with it. Well, we're going to try. All right, so let's go ahead and cut our layers. I cut already one piece of the designer series paper. And since I've made a definitive decision on the second piece, we're going to go ahead and cut it as well. They're both 3 3/4 by 5, so that's the dimensions that we're working with for the designer series paper layer. We'll go ahead and cut that right off. And then we're going to cut it down to 5. So it's 3 3/4 by 5. And that's it. We'll go ahead and put this away. The cards that we're making are super simple. We do have some die cutting to do. But while we're cutting, let's go ahead and cut our second layer or mat. And then our card base will be the third. So this piece will cut to 4 by 5 1/4. So I'm going to start with the 8 1/2 inch side at the top of the trimmer. You see here. And I'm going to cut 4 inches off. We'll put the remainder aside. We're going to cut this down to 5 1/4 inch. We only need one mat because the other one we're going to make with the crushed curry. So we'll do the same. I have the 11 inch side up and down, and then we'll cut this to 4. I'll save this scrap for something later. We'll cut this right down to 5 1/4. So it's 5 1/4 by 4. Those are our matted layers. And then we'll cut our card bases. I have the thick basic white 8 1/2 by 11. I'm going to score at 4 1/4 inch with the 8 1/2 inch side towards the top of the trimmer. I'm going to score at 4 1/4. That's halfway. And then I'll cut it at 5 1/2, and we'll have our 2 card bases all ready to go. Here we go. And we're gonna use them both. We're making 2 cards today, remember? All right, so let's do some die cutting. I already have my mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. Now, let me tell you, you may want to use some washi tape when you cut your letters. Because placement is essential. I'm going to wing it and hope for the best. However, you might want to use some washi tape. All right, so I have the layers that we're going to cut the dies with. See that little 2? Oh, there we go. See that number 2? So these 2 plates are second. And the number 1 is first, so this plate goes down first. And we're going to make a sandwich. So we have 2 pieces of bread. That's how I like to remember it. We'll put our 1 slice of bread down. And then we have our die cut. So remember, we're making a birthday card. We're using the H and the B. This is what we want it to look like when we're done. And we're going to cut it out of the designer series paper layer. So we have the layer number 1, layer number 2, and then we have the meat and the cheese. Now I'm going to slide this back so you can see it, but you're going to want to cut as evenly as possible because we're going to use both the positive and the negative sides of the designer series paper. We're going to use both. We're going to use the letters that we cut out, and then we're going to use the negative. And this is why I said that if you're making this at home, if you want to recreate it, placement is key. You might want to use washi tape. And I'm going to go ahead and cut it, and then I'll show you when I'm done what we have left. So this is probably the most daunting part of what we're making today. I kind of want to make sure that I get it lined up. So we're going to put that top piece of bread on our sandwich, and I'm going to press down to hold them in place. Going to kind of give it a shove. Thank you. The Lord was watching out for my die cutting skills today. Thank you, Lord. Okay. Let me show you what we've ended up with. And really, I don't think we need any other die cuts. So provided this looks the way that I want it to, we are done. I'm going to slide those right off. So easy peasy, right? Look how big. Look how big and lovely. Let's grab my take your pick tool. I think I've told you guys this before. We need these two too. You see the two pieces that come out of the center of the bee? We're going to use those. I told you that sometimes when my paper gets stuck in the die, I slam it on my desktop, and voila. So that's just something to know. And the larger the die, usually the more success I have with it. I was gonna poke it, but then I thought I could share that with you. So we have, here's what we have. We're gonna put the H and the B aside for now, but we do need, we need the two pieces that represent the B. We might even go ahead, let's grab some dimensionals. We might pop those up with some Stampin' dimensionals. So let's grab those out. And I found a strayed stamp that belongs someplace. All right, so let's go ahead and fold our card base. I'm going to take my bone folder and give it a nice score so it lays flat. I'm going to turn this around to let it face me because I am sometimes not the best at lining things up when they're upside down. I don't know why. Even if it's in the same direction, my poor eyeballs, they just don't want to see upside down. I can't blame them. All right, and then we have our designer series, our cardstock layer. In this case, it's crushed curry. And then we have our designer series paper mat. Can you see where we're going with this? Very cute. So let's go ahead. I wanted to do a dry run. Let's go ahead and glue these right down. I told you these cards were going to be easy peasy. And I love the dies. In fact, you'll be seeing them again because you can get the die, the alpha dies. They're called Party Alpha, Party Alphabet. You can get the dies, the alpha dies alone, or you can get them as a bundle that comes with, it comes with banners. So they're a set of graduating banner dies that are, they're pretty sizable too. I love them. So you can get both die sets either separately, independently, or you can get them as a bundle. And like I said, you'll see this again. I'm going to show you the bundle, and actually I think you'll see this at least a couple of more times because I have other ideas that I want to share with you. This seems a little sticky. I'm going to use just a little bit of liquid glue on the edge here because I don't want it to lift. And I've glued my fingers, which is not uncommon. Okay, let's go ahead and put this down. Let me make sure where the opening is. There it is. And let's grab it here towards the bottom. And I just want an even margin around all 4 sides. And if it drives you a little bonkers, I'm an eyeballer. You can totally use your grid paper or a ruler if you want to. I have to tell you that I am one of those immediate gratification kind of people. So I don't always like measuring if I don't have to. All right, so now we're gonna put the 2 little centers of the letter B. And I was debating whether or not we would pop these up with dimensionals. Maybe these go. You just have to kind of decide where you think they look good. I think they look good a little closer together. And I think I'm not gonna pop them up because we're gonna pop up this sentiment. So let's go ahead and grab the top one. I'm gonna use liquid glue for both layers. It's a little more glue than I wanted, so I'm gonna smush these together if I can. There we go. Let's take a little bit of glue from both of them. Or from one to apply to both of them is what I meant to say. And we'll stick these right down to finish the B. All right, so this is what we have so far. We're not going to use the dimensionals for that. And then let's grab a little bit of basic white. That's thick. We need a regular. So if you have scraps, this would be good for your scraps. If you don't have scraps, well, I guess you'll have to grab a whole sheet, which is what I'm doing. There we go. And paper challenge today. Nothing is going back in the package the way it came out. All right, and then I'm gonna go ahead and cut this down. And I'm gonna cut it at 4 1/4. So I'll have the other half. And it's ready for a card mat. And oh heck, I might as well do it with this one too. We'll cut it down to 5 1/2. I have another mat for another project. And then we'll cut after we do our stamping. So then you're gonna wanna grab any stamp set that has a birthday sentiment. The one that I grabbed out is called Round We Go. And actually the Round We Go is, this is on last chance, but it's still available. The only reason that I'm grabbing it is for that happy birthday sentiment. Actually, there's 2. You can see that happiest birthday, and this is still available. You know what? It comes as a bundle. You would have seen it in our last catalog. There we go. Comes with some dies if you want them. That's just something to know. Any stamp set that has a birthday sentiment, we're just gonna grab that out. And I think I'm gonna use the long happy birthday. And let's go ahead and attach it to an acrylic block. And I am using just black memento today. So I'm going to, I don't know how long I want this to be. So So I'm just going to stamp along the bottom of the bottom edge of the paper, kind of in the center, and that way I can cut it down to whatever I want it to be. And actually, while we're stamping, let's go ahead and stamp 2. I'm going to go on the other side because both cards will use the same sentiment. So there we go. We can be done stamping. I like that. Not much stamping, right? Because those big, large alpha dies, they do all the work. They do all of the work. I love it. Last week we had big dies too. Did you get a chance to see what we did last week? Here's that stray piece of glue. I want it to get on everything else. Last week, let's see, we made this lovely card with the cone flower. You see what I mean about large dies? If you didn't get a chance to look at it, you can go scroll back and see this card from last week. And I'm not sure if you guys know, I should have mentioned this before. I don't know why I'm just thinking of it. Facebook limits the time now that a video can stay on a page to 30 days. So if you see something that I'm creating and you love it and you want the dimensions, make it sooner rather than later, or at least go through the video and write down the dimensions, because it's not going to be there forever. Facebook is going to do away with it. I am working on a process of uploading to YouTube, and so my videos will stay on YouTube, but Facebook is limiting them, so they just go away on their own. Let's cut this one out too. All right, so I'm going to trim this down. If you're not confident with your trimmer and you'd rather use scissors, you can do that too. Today I'm going to snip the ends off with scissors, but today I don't trust my eyeballs to make straight lines. So I feel a little more confident with my trimmer. There. Okay. Now we're done with all the stamping. Let's get rid of our scraps here. And let's bring the first card back in. And to finish it, we're just gonna pop this little happy birthday somewhere on there. So let's go ahead and trim the ends off. One of the things that I like to do is trim at an angle. And then I flip it flip it around and trim on an angle again, just because it adds a little bit of interest. And I'm going to turn this, I don't think we want any overlapping. I think it will make our H and B for happy birthday look a little weird. So we're just going to put this sentiment below. Take the adhesive backing off. Stick that there for now. And we'll stick this below. Maybe this could use some embellishing, but I didn't plan on having any embellishing. You know, I did think of something. I have both the Baker's Twine Essentials and then linen thread. They're both kind of the same. And I thought, I'd forgotten about this. I saw this when I was surfing Pinterest for ideas to use with these dies. Oh, I have both of these on here. And I wanted to do it, and I think I've tried this in the past and I don't know how I feel about it, but let's go ahead and try. I'm gonna try and pop this sentiment up on one side. I'd forgotten that I brought that twine out. See if I can pop this off. we may need to replace it. Oh no, that looks good. Do you see how I'm popping that off with a spatula? Works like a charm. Can you tell I've done this before? All right. Have you ever seen where they take the twine and kind of make it willy-nilly and then put the sentiment on top? I don't know how I feel about it, just because I felt I wasn't good at it, but we're gonna try it. We're gonna try it. Grab a glue dot. And you can grab mini glue dots. I have one that's a little larger today because I just grabbed whatever was in my stash. And I'm just gonna stick it right down. I'll stick that right down. Oh, let's pop over. And then let's go ahead, and I'm just gonna go back and forth. Can you see what I'm doing? So I'm sticking the twine back and forth, and I'm kind of sticking it right to the glue dot. And I'm gonna do that a couple of times. Let's do it one more time. Nope, maybe we'll have to do it once more in the center so that we're kind of even on both sides. Boy, that's a lot of sticking. I don't know if I intended that much, but we'll see what it looks like. And then we're just gonna snip it off. All right, now we can go back. So you see how that's just kind of willy-nilly. Oh, good morning, Marie. Good morning. Happy Saturday, July 5th. Happy beautiful day. How are you? Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I was kind of wondering, I didn't see any activity, so I didn't know what was happening. Sometimes I get booted off and I'm not exactly sure that it's happening, which is why I added another device. Okay, there we go. That's card number 1. And like I said, I didn't intend for embellishments, but you could totally add some bling to it. And let's put that one aside for now, and we'll grab card number 2. And remember that we're using the positive dies that we cut from that alpha set, but we picked another pattern of designer series paper in a different color for the mat. So this is Melon Mambo, and we picked this pattern, and the idea was to do this. And because this is so busy, we're definitely going to have to pop those letters up, or maybe even use an offset, a shadow. I didn't think about how busy that would be, but this is how it's going to layer. So let's go ahead. This one is easy peasy. Most everything is done because we did it with the first go round of cuts. So get our card base. We know that we want the first layer, that Melon Mambo layer, so we're going to stick that right down. Grab my CO Plus. This stuff is amazing. It can work as a strong adhesive or your regular tape runner, whichever you choose. I love it. It's my favorite adhesive. I have another one that I use that's not Stampin' Up, but this is definitely my go-to. All right, and then let's go ahead and add this layer down too. We have to decide, oh, hey, look at that. What would happen if we did it this way? I just like those big flowers on the other side. Oh, I think we have to use it kind of, because then it makes that Melon Mambo make that's let's make a decisive decision. And we're gonna stick this right down. Let's make sure where the opening is, because this piece of designer series paper has a direction. Our flower petals are facing upward, so all right, so now we have to decide. I thought we were done with die cutting, but because the background is so busy, I think we're gonna grab that extra piece of Melon Mambo and we're gonna cut that H and B out again. Let's grab them. I think we'll cut them back, or cut them to give the letters a backing. And we're gonna use the Melon Mambo. We might need to cut it down a bit. Let's find our scrap that I set aside. There it is. Let's cut it down. I'm gonna cut it down to 3 3/4 to make sure that it passes through our mini cut and emboss machine. Throw that aside for a moment. And then I'm gonna try and make kind of a shadow for that H and B to pull it away from the busyness of the designer series paper pattern. The pattern is lovely, but I think it's just a little bit too close. So let's stick this here. Unlike the last cut that we made, oh yes, Marie, it is very summery, isn't it? I love it. I chose it for that reason because, you know, the time is coming where we're not going to be able to use such summery and bright patterns. So I'm using them up while I have the chance. I'm getting in while the getting's good. All right, so last time we had to be careful where we lined our letters up because we were using that negative part. Fortunately, this time we're not using it. And so we don't have to be as careful about where we place the dies to be cut this time. So pop these right out. And we'll put this away for now. And this time we're not gonna need those two little pieces. I'll stick them there for now. And then let's bring our card back in. And because they're the same size, to add the shadow, we'll have to go to the left or right, or you could even go top to bottom. So kind of like that. Can you see that? Or you can let it hang off the back side there. Can you see that? I think that's what we're gonna do. And so I'm gonna add, let's add some Seal Plus. I'm gonna go on the long side of the B. Let me think about this. And then the rounded side of the designer series paper. I said the long side of the B. I meant the cardstock B. Oh no, look what I did. I put the adhesive on the wrong side. We want that floral side, don't we? All right, so let's flip it over. We're not going to use the black and white side today. I do love the black and white side, so this matters. This matters. I hope you guys learned from that. Did you see what just happened? So it matters. It matters how we cut the B if we want it hanging off the back. There we go. All right, so I think it still works on the round. Boy, that took some brain gymnastics trying to decide where to place the adhesive. So I did get it down wrong at first, or at least it's not wrong, but different from what I wanted it to do. but it's okay. It's just glue. And then we'll do the same thing with the H. Boy. And so I have it hanging off the right side. So let's go ahead and add some CO Plus. This is kind of delicate. I don't want to rip it. And the CO Plus is pretty strong. And it doesn't really matter that I'm going off the side of the die cut with the glue. I think I was worried about that at first, but really there's no need to worry about the glue on the back side, just the glue on the top side. There we go. And then let's go ahead and pop this up with dimensionals. Yeah, I think I thought too much. I was thinking too hard about where to put the adhesive. But if it's anywhere on the back side, it doesn't really matter because you're not going to, it's not going to be exposed. And we'll add some here to our H. I'm going to be a little bit generous with them because these dies are kind of large. And then let's go ahead and pop off the backing. Put the H down first. And let's bring in that first card because my sticky bee there, because I kind of want it placed kind of the same, because we're doing the same card. We're just using both the positive and the negative sides of the die cuts. All right, here's our sticky bee. It's very sticky. And then we're gonna do the same thing. We'll finish it the same way. Let's grab my snips. And I'm cutting this at an angle. We'll put this here. I'm gonna use, get my take your pick tool and grab a glue dot or mini glue dot or any size glue dot that you have. The one I'm using is from my stash, so it's bigger, and actually I am kind of grateful for that. And then again, we're using the Baker's Twine Essentials pack, and I grabbed this kind of very vanilla looking, because can you see how it kind of matches those flowers? They're not exactly white. And then again, I'm just gonna lay the twine down and kind of go back and forth a little willy-nilly. And we're making, like, I don't know, what would you call it? Loops? We're just making loops. And I have 2 loops on each side, and I'm sticking it to that glue dot in the center to hold it into place. Here's our last little loop-de-loo. We'll cut off the excess. I'm gonna kind of position it up and down. Can you see that? And then we're gonna put this down with Stampin' Dimensionals. And this one maybe we'll add some rhinestones. I think I want some rhinestones on this one because of all the busyness of the designer series paper. All right, let's stick this right down. We're going right over top of that twine. We could have put it even, we could have moved it over a little bit, but that's okay. I think it works where it's at. All right, so here's what we have. Fun, right? What do you guys think about those large dies? I'm gonna grab some rhinestones for this busy card, and actually they could probably work for both. I think if I had some embellishments that were crushed curry, and remember, you can make your own if you have Stampin' Blends markers, ink base, so you can color right over your embellishments and make it. You can customize it. There we go. That's a good word. We can customize it to the color that we want. And I'm going to use my normal 3 trick. I'm going to put the larger one at the top this time. And actually, let's see. I'm going to put it on the other side. Can I get away with it? And we'll put 2 smaller ones here. There we go. What do you think? All right, that is my share today. We had 2 easy cards. We used the negative and the positive of our dies and a little designer series paper, some twine, and a little embellishment. And we have 2 birthday cards. And again, let's take a look at what we used. So the designer series paper, we don't need that white, put that away. The designer series paper that we used, pick these all up so I can flip it over. Oh, Lovely Garden. So it's the Lovely Garden 12 by 12 designer series paper. And then the dies that we used, oh gosh, did I put them back? The Party Alpha dies. And I have no idea where I just put them. Oh, they're large. I stuck them aside. Here we go. Party Alpha die, Alphabet. That's what it's called. Party Alphabet dies. And they are all of these large dies. They do come as a bundle. I will show you, coming up in the future, I'll show you the banners that go along with. All right, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for spending your time with me, for allowing me into your world and coming into mine. I appreciate your time. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. I will be back again next week to share with you, same place, same time. Here's one more look at our fun cards made with those large dies. Have a good weekend. See you soon. Bye-bye.